Now, let's say that in this 1-point perspective bedroom that I'm drawing, that I want to add a piece of furniture, like a table or a bed or a dresser or a bookshelf of some sort. This is how we would do that. And I'm going to show you on something basic, like a bookshelf, or maybe we'll do a bed. But the same technique you can use on pretty much anything, on even stairs, or let's see, what else could you draw? Chairs or couches even. Same technique, okay? So let's say that I want to have a bed in this corner that is running along the wall. So your head would be like over here and your feet would be down here instead of that way. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch out, I'm going to sketch this out really lightly first, kind of the foot of the bed. And you know how if you look at a mattress, they're kind of boxy shaped actually. So now that I've got that kind of sketched out to my liking, I'm going to come back in with my ruler. I'm going to make sure that those lines are nice and straight. And notice that this corner is actually overlapping with this diagonal line that I have indicating where the sidewall and the floor are coming together. That's okay. But for the most part, I want most of my bed to be on this section of my paper because that's going to help it indicate that it's actually resting on the floor. So I'm going to come back in with my ruler, straighten up my lines, make that really nice and crisp. Alright, now I'm going to turn this flat shape into a three-dimensional shape by drawing a line from each of these corners. I'm not going to do this corner because really I won't be able to see that side of the bed, but from this corner, and this corner, I'm going to draw a converging line or a vanishing line from that corner to my vanishing point. So I'm going to do that with my ruler, lining up my ruler with my vanishing point and those corners, drawing a line there, a line there, and a line there. Alright, now what I need to do is I need to close off this shape like we've done in our practices before. So I'm going to make sure that this line of my first shape that I drew has a twin that is the exact same angle right here in the back. Same with this vertical line right here. I'm going to make sure it has a twin that looks exactly like it, exact same angle right at the back. So I'm going to take my ruler, kind of use it as a reference or a guide to make sure I'm getting it that as close as I can to being perfectly parallel with that front line, that first line that I drew. Then I'm going to use this corner as my reference so I know how far back this line needs to have a friend. Making sure it's nice, straight up and down. Closing it off just like that. Alright, so now I've made a mattress or a bed, right? If I wanted to make this even fancier, I could add maybe some little legs on my bed right here. And I would do, if I wanted to add some little legs on the bottom of my bed, pretty much do the exact same thing as I did with the bed itself. Right? Lining up my corners, closing off those shapes, so it looks like now this bed is actually on some stilts. And that line was not perfectly parallel with the line in front of it, so it made it look a little strange. So I'm going to take a moment to straighten that out. There we go. That looks much better. I'll do the same with this one right here, using my ruler to make it nice and straight. And I'll close this line off right here. But now, instead of this edge, I'm going to do this edge, right? That corner. Taking that line back, making sure it has a nice parallel line to close it off so it looks like I have a little stand. Then I would do the same thing right in line with this guy right here to make it look like I had one back there, a little leg back there. It gets a little tricky when they get tinier and tinier, but we do what we can. There we go. So now it looks like I have a bed that has these little feet on it, and now I can decorate this bed however I want. If I want to add a blanket over the top, maybe add some pillows to my bed right here. I'm going to erase some of those sharp edges and lines that I don't need anymore. To make it look like there's actually a blanket on here. Wiggle up that edge. I have a little bed sitting in my room, just like that. Okay. Now I could do the same thing with a dresser, a bookshelf. I would do pretty much in the same way. But now I want to show you how I would maybe make some stairs. So this room's going to be a little bit weird. We're going to pretend that we have stairs actually coming out of this window onto the floor. So let me show you how I would do that. Even though I don't know anyone who would have stairs coming out of their window, but maybe in our world there are.
Hey, just a reminder, members of the Guiding Coalition, we have a meeting starting in just a few moments in John's office. Thank you.
Then, so you can see how I've made this kind of straight edge first, right? A little half of a square. Now I'm going to use my ruler to create kind of that zigzaggy pattern that stairs generally have, right? If I was looking at a staircase from the side. I'm going to have a couple steps like this. And notice how I've just made this shape flat first, because I'm looking at it from one of its flat edges. I'm looking at it right from the side, kind of from its cross section. So, because that's how everything in one-point perspective kind of starts. It starts with a flat surface, and then we add the depth to it behind it. So there we go. Have my little zigzaggy pattern. Oops, my light's turned off. And now, what I'm going to do is same thing. You guys are probably getting tired of me saying this, but I'm going to use my ruler and use it to line every single corner that I have on this shape with a line that goes straight back to my vanishing point. And that's going to look just like this. So I already have one here because of that, the bottom of that window. I know it's lined up with my vanishing point, so I'm going to start with that other one, that second one. There. And don't forget these inside corners. Don't just do the ones that poke out. You have to do the ones that are sticking in too. Otherwise, we're going to have some strange looking stairs. There. 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 And there. And don't forget this bottom one either. Sometimes we forget. Alright, so now I made some of these a little too long, that's okay. Just erase them. So now I have all of these crazy lines shooting out from this shape that I've drawn. Now, like you guys can probably guess, since I have this front of my shape, now I need to find its twin that is sitting behind it to complete the rest of that shape. So I'm going to go, so this is a horizontal line, so I need a horizontal line that is at that exact same angle on the back of my stair to close off that shape. I have a vertical line here, so that means along this flat surface here, I need a vertical line behind it. I'm going to try and get those as vertical and parallel as I can using my ruler. And I'm going to continue doing that. This is a horizontal line, so that means a horizontal line matching it needs to be behind it. And again, this is a vertical line. I need a vertical line behind it. Horizontal, as close as I can get. Vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, and vertical. All right, so now you can see that I've created these three-dimensional looking stairs in my room using 1-point perspective, and I can now erase all of those lines that I made a little too long, cleaning up my paper so it's nice and neat. I have to redraw in some of these lines in the background, that's okay. There I have it. So that's how you draw some stairs in 1-point perspective, a bed, and remember these same techniques can be used to draw a bookshelf, or a dresser, or a television, or even a picture hanging on the wall. So I'd love to see the creations that you make. And remember, for this assignment, we're doing a spooky, haunted room in a haunted house. So I am really excited to see your creativity and what you come up with.